Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Christian and today we're going to be doing a full face of black owned makeup brands. This is in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. Unfortunately, I don't have any AdSense or monetization for these videos yet, so I won't be able to donate any proceeds to that, but I am going to do what I can, donate my own money to a couple different organizations. If you have any feedback on which organizations I should donate to, please comment below. After looking at my makeup collection, I realized that I have a lot of wider known brands like Fenty Beauty and Pat McGrath. I am using also things by Juvia's Place and Beauty Bakerie, but doing this challenge made me realize that yeah, I could be more inclusive, so I decided to place a few more orders. I have some things coming from Mented Cosmetics, Oma Beauty, and more things from Beauty Bakerie. And if there's any other brands that you'd like me to test out, just let me know, and I'll place an order soon and give those a try as well. If you'd like to see a video on the other brands that I'm mentioning, just let me know. Okay, so today we're going to start off with our eyes, so we don't get any fallout on our base. So I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Concealer in the shade 210. I'm just using this as a primer since I don't have an official eye primer to use today. Just gonna dot a little bit on my eyelids. And tap that out. Okay, now that we have that blended out a little bit, let's start using one of our palettes. So we're going to be using the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette today. I have it in the limited edition pink packaging. It's a little hard to film because the palette doesn't open all the way, so it's kind of hard for you to tell, especially with the reflectiveness of the pink packaging. So I'm not sure what kind of look I want to do today, so we are just gonna play around and see what happens. I'm just going to be taking a crease color. I'm going to be taking the color Naked Blush, and I'm going to use that to define my crease. I'm just using a fluffy blending brush by Morphe. This is a lot more pigmented than I expected. But we're going to try our best and work with what we have. Just blending this out. Sorry, I have a spinning chair, so I don't realize I'm rotating. Okay. So next I'm going to try to blend that out a little bit further. So with a clean blending brush, I'm going to go ahead and try and blend that out a little further, so there isn't any harsh lines. I'm going to try to deepen up the crease a little bit, so I'm going to take the shade Extreme Burgundy and use that same fluffy blending brush that we used for Naked Blush, and just go on the outer corners to define that crease. Once we have that Extreme Burgundy shade blended out, we're going to pick a lid shade. I think I want to use the shade Divine Dusk as my lid shade and place that all over the lid. That looks pretty. I think I want to kind of create a halo eye. So I'm just going to take a brighter color and pop that on the center with my fingertips. Let's go with Bronze Rose number 5 and see if we can make that lid pop a little bit. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's giving it just an extra bit of shine. Now we're going to do an inner corner highlight, and we're going to use the shade Astral Pink Moon. Just put that on the inner corners. Try to even it out a little bit more. Okay, and now let's smoke out the lower lash line. So to smoke out the lower lash line, I'm going to be using Extreme Burgundy again. Just using like a small pencil brush, any brush will do. And I'm just going to shade in the outer quarter of the lash line. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the other side of this brush. It's just another fluffy blending brush, and I'm gonna blend that in a little bit. So now we need to line the eyes. I do have lash extensions, so I'm not supposed to use any type of gel or liquid eyeliner. So what I use is a black eyeshadow. Today we're just going to be using this black shadow in the Saharan palette by Juvia's Place. This is what the palette looks like. We're going to be using the shade Chad right here, and this is the reason why I am doing my eyeshadow first before my base, because there's a lot of fallout when you use black eyeshadow for your liner. So I'm going to try my best to not do that today. It's also really hard to do your eyeliner with lash extensions because your lashes are basically blocking your entire lid, so I just have to try my best. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, sorry, there's a glare. Okay, just try to make that as even as possible, but like I said, it's really hard to do your liner with lash extensions because it is covering most of my eyelid, so I can barely see the liner to see if they match up or not. So now let's move on to our base. I've already done my skincare. Now we need to prime. I'm going to be using this Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Mattifying Primer today. Now I'm going to focus this on my T-zone first, because that's where I get the most oily. Around my nose. And on my chin. Okay, now let's move on to our foundation. For the foundation, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filt'r Soft Matte Longwear Foundation in the shade 240. I'm just going to dot that all over my face. Oops. Still have primer on my forehead. That's okay. So I'm using about 2 pumps, which may seem like a lot, but I have a really big face, so I need the product. And now I'm just gonna use a Sephora buffing brush to blend that out. Got a little bit in my hair. Alright, I used up the 2 pumps. I think I'm going to use about another half pump to go along my jawline and underneath my chin, just to blend it down my neck a little bit. And trying to hit my ears too, so I'm not a bunch of different shades. Alright, now I'm going to go back to the concealer that we used, the Fenty Pro Filt'r Instant Retouch Concealer, and I'm going to try to cover up some of my acne scars. The shade is a little bit light, but we'll make it work. Alright, so there's our foundation. And I'm going to use that same concealer to conceal under my eyes. I normally don't do this because I feel like my dark circles aren't that bad. But of course when I say that, they look pretty terrible in camera, so let's try it out today. I don't have any powder to set with, so this might be awful. So I'm going to use a Morphe M6 to blend this out. And it looks just kind of like an artiste brush. And pat that out with my fingers. I'm not sure if putting that concealer underneath my eyes really did anything, but it was worth trying out. So next let's do my eyebrows. I don't have any eyebrow products today. I apologize. I did place a couple of orders for some more black owned makeup brands, so I will be making a few more videos with a more complete full face. But today we're going to be using an eyeshadow from one of the Juvia's Place palettes in place of an eyebrow pencil. So I'm going to be using the Nubian by Juvia's. There's no eyeshadow names in this palette, but I'm going to be using this dark brown here. Alright, so I'm just taking an Anastasia number 14 brush for my eyebrows. Just tapping off the excess. This is super pigmented. My eyebrows are microbladed, so I like the shape they are now. They're just kind of faded, and with this eye look, they look even lighter, so I'm just deepening up what's already there and brushing it out so the powder doesn't look as harsh. Now that I've used most of the product on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and do the inner portion of the brow, so it's not as dark. Go ahead and brush that out a little bit. Now let's move on to the other side. So the eyebrows are done. Let's move on to our contour and bronzing. So for contour today, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Cream Contour, or the Cream Bronzer, in the shade Amber, which is more of a contour shade. Sorry about that. It is fairly light because it's meant for fair skin tones, but this is the kind of coolest shade that they have to use as a contour. So I'm just gonna pick up a little more than I normally would on my brush to get some extra pigment. And then I'm just gonna carve out my cheekbones a little bit. Blend that out. Okay, so I went a little high with that, so I'm gonna go back and take my foundation brush, kind of blend over that. Okay. I'm also gonna carve my chin out a little bit. We're gonna try to pretend like I don't have a double chin today. We all know it's there though, so it's fine. So first I'm gonna bronze the perimeter of my face with a cream bronzer. I'm gonna be using the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in Macchiato. And I have a really round, wide face, so I try to bronze up a lot on my temples to give the illusion that I have a smaller face. And also going up on the forehead. And I like to bronze underneath my cheekbones as well to kind of try to slim it out my face. Okay, so that's enough bronzer for now. Just blending it out a little more. So now we're going to set the bronzer with a powder bronzer in the Saharan Blush Volume 2 palette. We're going to be using the shade Yara right here. And I'm using a Sephora Pro Demi fan brush to do this. face is bronzed. Now let's go in with some blush. I think I'm gonna take that same Pro Demi fan brush because I like the shape of it for my cheeks. So let's go back into that Saharan Blush Volume 2 palette, and I'm gonna mix a couple shades. I'm gonna try mixing the shade B and Lena. And these are pretty pigmented, so I'm just tapping them out a little bit. So for highlighter, we're going to go back into that Saharan palette and use the shade Zoba. It's a little dark for me, but we're going to see how it works out. It looks like it might be better off as a blush topper, but let's try. Still shows up. It is a little dark on me though. So instead I'm going to be using a shade out of the Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2 palette, and I'm going to be using the shade Astral Pink Moon, and I'm going to put that on top of the highlight that I just used. Try and lighten it up a little bit. And this is quite glittery, but I don't mind that. So I just made it a little brighter. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. Okay, I think we're done with the base. So let's move on to our lips. So for my lips today, I'm going to be using the Pat McGrath Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil in the shade Supernatural. This is actually my favorite lip liner of all time. It's super creamy and pigmented, lasts forever. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. I like to slightly overline my upper lip. I have pretty small lips in comparison to how big my face is. So I just lined my lips, and now I'm gonna fill that in with the same lip liner in Supernatural. And for lipstick today, we're going to be using the Beauty Bakerie Lip Whip in the shade Versailles. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. If you like today's content, please subscribe and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out in any future videos. Thanks guys, bye!